Tiffany. Today we're going to be talking about Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is the fourth and final book of the Lunar Chronicles series, and it's a great series and you should totally read it if you haven't read it yet. Pretty much the Lunar Chronicles is about a cyborg and it's a fairy tale retelling and it's kind of dystopian but sci-fi, and there are these people who live on the moon and they're called Lunars and they have this weird ability to something with people's minds and it's really cool. And then there's also cyborgs, and though it sounds really cheesy, I promise it's not. So if you haven't read Winter now, then I'm going to ask you to leave so I can just spurt out my feelings about this book. So yeah, adios! So the Lunar Chronicles was probably my most anticipated book of 2015, and then reading it, I read it so fast, I just flew through pages, and it was really good. But honestly, the other books were so good that this didn't really meet my expectations. Like, I wasn't disappointed, but I kind of expected more. But it's because I expected so highly of the other ones. Like, I was actually shaking at the end of Crest. That's how high my expectations for Winter was. But it just, I'm sorry, but it's hard to, like, conclude a dystopian series for me, because I said this in my Allegiant trailer reaction, but dystopians, I'm starting to get sick of them because they're all the same in the final book, because they're all just going against the government. This book is the reason why I said a lot of dystopians can bring different elements in the beginning of the series, and this brought so many different things that I loved so much. But then in the last book, of course, it turned out to be, of course, it's a dystopian going against Queen Lavanna, and it was just, it's the same thing. And that, I think, is the main reason why it disappointed me. Everything else, I really enjoyed this book, other than that one little fact. So they're finally going against Queen Lavanna, and that's great! And then they have this amazing cast of characters, and you have to love every single one. I mean, come on! All of them are great, and they all have their own distinct personalities, and I'm sorry, just regarding his trying to do 7 different characters, and then have them all have important roles and different personalities, it just didn't work for me. So then, like, whenever another author is able to put in so many different characters to work together as a group and then able to pull it off correctly, like their personality still shows, they're not all blending into one character, and they're all important in their own ways, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you did such a good job. Because one of my first encounters with that was the Heroes of Olympus series, and then honestly I personally didn't think Greg Riordan did a very great job of that. But both Leigh Bardugo, which is the author of The Six of Crows, and Marissa Meyer, the author of Winter, did an amazing job, and you just have to love all of the characters. And one thing that I found really cute in this book was the fact that there was just so much romance. It was so cute. She was tying everything together with a perfect little Christmas bow. Just this book, not even in the series, but in this book, there was every single love trope that you've ever known. There was every single one, and I loved it because it wasn't the irritating love trope. You had like Scarlet and Wolf, Cress and Thorn, and then you had Winter and Jason, and of course you had Cinder and Prince Kai, which was the best of them all. But all of their romance was adorable. It didn't annoyingly affect the plot. Sure, some of the characters' mindset was like, you know, all changed up because of the love, but I was okay with that. It wasn't super annoying like in other books where everything revolved around that little stinking love triangle or something like that. No, they still got work done, especially Cinder. I think she handled the whole like love thing the most, like the best out of all of them. Another thing about love that I didn't really like, but it didn't really bother me that much because it definitely wasn't a major factor in this, it was the love can save everything trope. Because honestly, I feel like a lot of books do that, not only this one, but also Harry Potter. I didn't like how love was a thing that defeated the Dark Lord, and then love is the reason why Lavanna is controlling the world. Like, no, actually I'm okay with like love being the reason why Lavanna is trying to control the world, because I got to see from Lavanna's point of view, so I got to have a more understanding. But if I hadn't read Ferris and I just read the page where Cinder asked Lavanna, why are you doing this? And Lavanna was like, oh, because love. I was like, what the heck? No, that you can't just control an entire nation because of that reason. Honestly, I needed more clarification on that, which I got in Ferris, which is why it made me okay with this. But just for like a minute, I was annoyed because I was like, ugh. But still, I love Ferris so much. Seeing from an antagonist's point of view is so different from other books, and I need more of them. And another thing about the romance, I love how everything was so uncomplicated and how it wasn't super angsty, but it did feel like it was a little bit too easy for them to fall in love. Because when you think about it, there were 6 people on the Rampion, and then all 6 of those people got together with another person on the Rampion. Like, you could have like had someone, I don't know, that wasn't on the Rampion, I guess. That's kind of stupid, but you know what I mean? But as a reader, I wouldn't have it any other way. I like how uncomplicated it was, but that was just one thing that I noticed, like, that was really easy and coincidental, don't you think? And now talking about characters, we have this new character named Winter, which is actually a very interesting character. Like, she has this whole weird mind thing going on, and I like how she wasn't super powerful with her power when she, like, did use it for the first time. Because, come on, it's the last book of a series, and, like, she had never used her power before. Of course she was going to use it in this book. She was really strange about her whole hallucination thing, and I found it so interesting to read about that, but I thought there was going to be more of her hallucinations, but there was a thing where when she was with Jason, she, like, went all normal and stuff, which is totally okay. I don't know why I just, like, noticed that. Wonder what happens. Will she get the chip? She's probably gonna get the chip and she's gonna be, like, all normal and stuff, but I honestly can't imagine her being normal with the chip on, because, like, her weirdness, it is her personality. Like, that is her, and I can't imagine her, like, not having that anymore. But honestly, when you think about it as, like, an actual person, though, that's really cruel of me. That's like me saying you should keep this whole mental illness of yours. It really is just you. Like, that fits your personality so well. See, that's really mean of me. So now I wish I didn't say that, but I just can't imagine it, because for me, that was her strangeness. That was the definition of Winter. And then we have Thorn and Cress, which was just so adorable. Like, Cress kept on liking him, and then Thorn liked her, and then he didn't say anything, and then he thought she was gonna die, and then he was all like, oh my gosh, she's dead because of me, and then, like, he unconsciously liked her. That was so cute. That was, like, they tied that one together really well too. Like, honestly, I love his reasoning. He reminded me of Flynn Rider so much, but his reasoning for why Cress shouldn't like him was because he was the bad guy and etc. But that was, oh. He's so Flynn Rider and she's so Rapunzel. What is this? And then we also have Scarlet and Wolf, which were not even together for a majority of the book, and that made me really sad. It's so strange how Scarlet was the more independent one when, like, it came to her and Wolf. Wolf was just like a little sad tiny baby. He was like, oh my gosh, where's Scarlet? And then Scarlet was just, I need to get work done. I'm losing a finger, but I still gotta do this. Save the country. Let's go. But then their little reunion was so cute. But then we also have Wolf's little transfiguration. And so what I'm imagining him now, he has like a snout or something. Does he not have a snout? It's hard for me to imagine it, but pretty much I saw that, like, more elongated and, like, kind of, yeah, his, like, nose, this area, you know how dogs, theirs is like whoop. I saw his as being a little bit more whoop than like whoop. You know what I mean? And then, of course, we have the two best ones, Cinder and Kai. I felt bad for Kai because it's true. He couldn't do much in the series because he was just a politician. And politicians just go in circles and they don't even do anything. But Cinder, I think she was a great main character, and then she wasn't annoying. That's one thing that I really like about Cinder. She never really annoyed me as much as, like, Triss or Katniss did. She was just all, like, cool and chill. Their relationship is definitely my favorite, even though you probably got to see the least of that than anyone else. And then again, about Cinder, you have the end of the book where Cinder, she gets to become queen, she defeats Lavanna, all that fun stuff. I didn't really like that part because, like she said, I think I'm going to change this place's government system to become a democracy. I feel like a lot of dystopians have used democracy to solve their problems, but I don't know, I'm not a politician, but I feel like democracy, it also has its problems, and it's not as easy to, like, lay out as one would believe. And even when it is, like, done correctly, like, for example, America, there are still a lot of problems that need to be addressed about it. So I feel like there could be other ways to fix the government. And monarchy, though there was for a long time in European history that it was completely awful, it still could work, and that if you could just fix some things. And I'm sure there are other types of government that you need to look into if you want to see, like, another kind of solution that's different than democracy. Because again, dystopians, why are they all just so similar? There are other solutions other than democracy. Don't just go for, like, the easiest route, because Marissa Meyer, she is from America, and in America it is democracy, but we have problems too. Like, there really are problems, and people, like, haven't solved them, so it's not always the best solution. In theory, there are a lot of things that could work, but this is a book, so you could do a lot of in-theory things, and you could try to open your horizons to not just what you see, like the outer rim of what you see of where you live. But one thing that I do believe that was correct in the end was Cinder wasn't really supposed to be queen. Like, she had no upbringing in this, and though she's a natural leader, she's not a natural political leader. Like, she's nothing near ready to become a queen of a nation or even just a president of a nation. She knows nothing about the area, and there are a lot of things that, yes, Cinder isn't fit to be queen, but neither is Winter. So that's a problem, but honestly, still, I think they could have done something better than democratic stuff, honestly. And I think that might be all I wanted to talk about. I mean, if I want to talk about the overlying plot, it definitely wasn't irritating with the whole romance and how they had to encounter a lot of problems. I think they solved those problems really correctly, but there are about 50 pages that I really wanted to skip in the middle. I don't even remember what they were about, but I really wanted to skip them because they were just annoying. There was a good enough number of problems that, like, it was understandable, but there wasn't too many where I'm just like, okay, this is turning really repetitive, because in the end of The Martian, I started to believe that, yeah, you have a lot of, this is very annoying now. But it was only in the end of The Martian where after like a lot of stuff happened, it kept on happening. But The Winter, they had a lot of problems, but they all solved them like at the same time, differently, because everyone had to split up. And splitting up, I never liked that part of a book where the characters had to split up, but I understand that it's a necessary part because honestly, they're not going to be able to stay together if like it was real. But I do believe that's everything that I wanted to talk about. Like, finally, that's everything. So thank you so much for watching. Bye! Overjoyed with how easy, and me as a overjoyed with how easy